It's certainly a pleasure to be in front of you today. As a new representative for my school for our union, I'm beginning to see the dedication that you have, students and teachers here in California, and I offer my warmest thanks to you. A lot of the training I've been going to, and I'm sure you have too, has been about Common Core. I've seen that's been on your agenda this time around. It seems like every conversation that we have, is something about Common Core. I think it's going to be a good thing. I think it's going to take time. My school where I teach at Florin High School in Sacramento, and we have 19 primary languages represented at our school. And with such diversity in a large EL population, I think that the Common Core is really going to help those students. It's going to help them with their critical thinking or reading skills. And I'll give you an example. Recently, I was talking to my 9th grade algebra class, and I said, "Class, did you hear the story? Did you hear what happened in the front office the other day?" And they go, "No." And I said, "Well, this young man came in, and he was late for school, and he wanted a tardy slip from the attendance clerk, Miss Ray." And he goes up to Miss Ray, and he says, "Miss Ray," he goes, "can I have a tardy slip?" And she looks up on his shoulder, and she goes, "Excuse me, is that a lizard on your shoulder?" And he goes, "No, ma'am, that's a newt, and his name is Tiny." And she goes, "Why is his name Tiny?" And he goes, "Because he's minute." So I told that to my class, my algebra class, and ladies and gentlemen, not one student laughed. Not one of them. They looked at me like I was on another planet. And I said, "Get it? Minute?" Minute? Still didn't work. So I went over to the board and I wrote my and N-E-W-T on the board, and then I wrote M-I-N-U-T-E. And they said, "Mr. Smith, that says minute." And I said, "No, it can be pronounced minute, and it means very small." And they said, "Well, why didn't you tell us that first?" And I said, "Forget about it. Let's just go on." And then this young shy girl named Elena was sitting right next to me. She whispers to me, "Mr. Smith, tell it to us again. It'll be funny this time." Other California's Teachers of the Year and I, we claim to be a voice for education in 2014 in California. But really, you are the voice for our education in California. You are a much larger voice. And really, you are the rallying cry for all teachers in California, whether you realize that or not. You're the stalwart protection for every public school teacher in California, union or not. Recently, one of my student teachers came back to me. She called me. She said, "Hey, Tim, can I see you this afternoon?" And I said, "Sure." So she came and she visited me after school, and she walked in. I knew something was wrong. And she teaches at a non-public school. And I said, "How's it going?" She said, "I quit today." And I said, "Really? What happened?" She goes, "You know, I was teaching at this school, and the teachers and the administration mauled me day after day after day." She goes, "I had no rights, I had no protection, I had nothing." She goes, "And for weeks and on end," she goes, I said to myself, Tim would never tolerate this. Tim would not allow this." And she said she finally realized that Tim would tell her to quit, and she did. And you know, I know her because she was my student teacher, and I can assure you that almost every person out here will probably enjoy teaching next to her. She's that kind of person, but she didn't have you. This is the reason that you are here, ladies and gentlemen. If there's ever been a more critical time for public education in the United States, I don't know what. You tell me about it. Recently, I went to California State University, Sacramento, and I talked to about 200 single-subject credentialing students there. And afterwards, several of them came up to me afterwards, and they said, "You know, Tim, what we're really worried about is job security. They're not sure if they're going to have tenure. They're not sure if they're going to have medical insurance. They're not sure if they're going to have retirement." And they had all said that the game had changed for them. And I agree with them. And the one thing that they are counting on is the protection of you. And ladies and gentlemen, you're the last line of defense for all of those things that enable us to teach each day without worrying ourselves sick. When I look out among you, I see heroes. I see a group of teachers standing up for students and teachers in California. In a few weeks, I'm going to go back to California State University in Sacramento, and I'm going to talk to the multi-subject credentialing students, and I'm going to tell them what I saw here today. I'm going to tell them I saw hundreds of the most dedicated and gifted teachers that we have in California standing up for education. You're willing to make the change, you're willing to promote, and you're willing to protect the teaching profession. And when I go back, I'm going to have them sign up in their local education association as soon as they're able to. And after I talk to them, I know that they're going to be comforted by what you represent here in California. You allow us to teach. You allow them to teach. And I want to say what an honor it is here to be here today, to stand before you and just to see this wonderful representation of California. Thank you.